Hi everyone, this is Faz and you're watching Life Unfiltered. Today's episode is exceptional. I have no words for this human being. His name is Bob Murugu. He is a Lens Neurofeedback therapist as well as a Tomatis therapist. Now, if you have never heard of Lens Neurofeedback like myself, then this is some episode that you really need to watch. It is a way of identifying people's traumas and issues with their brainwaves. I'm not going to give you too much more than that because you're really going to have to watch this episode, but he is exceptional. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Welcome to Life Unfiltered.
Thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you too. Pleasure is mine.
So Bob, we'll start off just if you could just give us a bit of a background. Who is Bob? Where have you come from? What do you do?
Yeah, my name is Bob Murugu. I'm a clinical psychologist. I have a family. I have one wife and 8 kids.
Wow.
And now I live out of town. I live in Rift Valley. I live in Naivasha, a place called Mahiu. That's where I built a home. But I did that during COVID time. But now we moved back into the city because we have a small kid, 15-year-old, that's my last born, who goes to school. So it became a bit difficult to
commute
every day. So, and then I also have an office in here in Westlands on David Osieli. That is where I practice my neurofeedback, Lens Neurofeedback.
Sure. Tell us, in terms of the Lens Neurofeedback, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that?
Neurofeedback itself is not a very old field. Lens Neurofeedback specifically is about 30 years. It was started by a guy called Len Ox. But Len doesn't have anything to do with lens. Lens is an acronym of Low Energy Neurofeedback System.
Okay.
It just happened that
his name was
yeah. So Len Oak was a clinical psychologist in the US, and he had been doing what now is referred to as traditional neurofeedback. So neurofeedback is very simple. The way when you're getting ready, you look at yourself in the mirror. The mirror is giving you feedback. All right. So these systems that we use, Lens Neurofeedback or the traditional neurofeedback, what we're doing is it's like we are holding a mirror in front of the brain of the nervous system, nervous system. So we are holding a mirror and telling the nervous system, okay, you can do better than this. So in traditional neurofeedback, what they do is that they entrain or they train the brain. But in training the brain, when you're talking about the brain, how the brain functions, 5 brain waves. So you have 5. We all have 5 brain waves. So you have a brain wave for when you are sleeping. When you're in deep sleep, you have a brain wave that is delta. That is between 0.5 to 4 hertz. Hertz is the speed of the wave. So you have delta when you're sleeping. You have theta. Theta is now between 4 to 8. This is when you're like idling. Your brain is idling. You're daydreaming. That is theta. And then now from theta we go to alpha. So alpha is from 8 to 13. And alpha is where most of us find ourselves, is when we find ourselves most of the time. So a good analogy of alpha, you've seen a cat when it is waiting, let's say, to catch a bird. The way it is usually very alert but very quiet. Now that is alpha. So we are alert but quiet. So and then now from alpha we go to beta. Beta is for when we are doing some serious brain work, some serious executive work. So beta, and then from beta we go to gamma. So we have those 5 brain waves. So for one reason or another, someone could have, could be, instead of being in the normal, and normal here means, most people are in this one. So instead of being in alpha, a grown-up, because kids are not in alpha, kids are mostly in delta and theta. So instead of a grown-up being in alpha most of the time, for one reason or another, they could find themselves mostly in delta.
Okay.
Okay. So an adult who is in delta most of the time, or their dominant brainwave is delta, which is for sleeping. Okay. They will have a lot of difficulties. So you have ADHD there, for example. You have, people who have no motivation. You have people who they have gone to school, they have even 1 or 2 degrees, but they are just at home. They don't go anywhere, they're at home. And when you talk to them, they are very, they are okay. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
So that is a person who is in delta mostly.
So it's like someone who lacks motivation, maybe?
Yeah, someone who lacks motivation, yes.
And someone who, what about this idea of brain fog? Somebody who doesn't...
Yes, that also,
Okay.
brain fog also. Someone who just wants to keep to themselves. But that is because of their brain. It's because the brain, their dominant brain wave is delta. So it's like this person is walking, is sleepwalking. This person is sleepwalking. So now, when we talk about or in traditional neurofeedback, so someone has done a brain map, the EEG brain map, and then they have gone on and analyzed the EEG. So they have what is called a QEEG, quantitative EEG. So with this quantitative EEG, it is fed into a system. And then now what they try to do is they try to get you out of that brainwave that you are in. So if you are in delta, they try to get you out of delta. So you will be watching a screen, something on the screen, playing a movie, all right? But for you now to play the movie, to watch the movie, you have to be in a certain brainwave. So as long as you are in that brainwave, the screen will be showing all right. But once you fall off that brainwave, and you see we are always going into this wave and this brainwave out in and out of a certain all these brainwaves. So now you're watching a screen and it is showing very nice, very well. It is a movie that you enjoy very much, and then you fall off. You come out of the brainwave. Let's say you come out of the alpha brainwave. You go to theta. The screen goes dark. Okay, then now you have to go back to you want, because you want to continue watching the movie. Your brain says, I was enjoying this movie very much.
So it will itself automatically go back to alpha.
Exactly. And you keep watching and you go off again and it goes again. So they are training you.
Sure.
So they are training your brain to be in a certain brainwave, or to mostly be in a certain brainwave. So this is traditional neurofeedback, and it takes a lot of sessions. It can take 40 sessions, 80 sessions. You can just keep going, and it's not cheap.
But how would you know if you're one of these? Okay, yes, we said if somebody has 2-3 degrees in university and feels demotivated, or you're talking to someone, they don't really feel like they're there. But as a normal person, like as myself, how would I know which brainwave I'm functioning at?
Well, you wouldn't know unless you do an EEG.
Right.
Unless you do an EEG, you wouldn't know. And you know the EEG is a thing they put sensors on your brain.
Yes.
So unless you do the EEG, you wouldn't know. And probably for you to go and do an EEG, you have to have some very good reason. You have to have a very good reason. So that is traditional neurofeedback. What they're doing is they're training your brain. Now in Lens, low energy neurofeedback, neurofeedback, we are not training you. We are not training your brain. We are actually disentraining your brain.
Okay.
So So you know, if you remember in your school physics, so you have the pendulum, okay, and you swing. You're doing an experiment. You have 4 pendulums, so you swing the first one, and you start swinging, and then you swing the second one like that, the third one like that. After some time, they will all be swinging in unison because one of them has trained the others, so they are following the others. Okay. So the one that is strong, this is all about electromagnetic and energy. So the stronger one has made the others follow. Okay, so that is so the brain has been so the pendulum, one of the pendulums have been trained by the other. So that's the same sort of thing that happens with the brain waves. So the strong brain wave, the dominant brain wave, is going to have the others follow. Okay, now in Lens Neurofeedback, we disentrain. So we using the software, of course, and we are telling using the software and the equipment. There's a small equipment. We are telling the brain. Remember, I told you that neurofeedback is holding a mirror for the brain. So we are showing the brain, listen, this is how you're operating, and you are an intelligent. The brain is an intelligent system, so it knows that this is not how I'm supposed to be operating.
Right.
So it disentrains. So the brain waves are, untangled. Yes, they're untangled. Yeah. So and then now the brain reorganizes itself. Wow. Neurofeedback, Lens Neurofeedback specifically, is a fantastic intervention. It's a fantastic intervention.
So if I'm not at the optimal wavelength, or I'm not using the optimal, how would you know in terms of, is there a certain person that's optimal? It's optimal because I have this certain job. It's optimal because I'm female or I'm male at a certain age. Like, how do you determine with Lens that the optimal is that this wavelength is predominant? This is the next one, the next one, the next one.
So,
or is it during different times of the day? So I know at night we're mostly in delta.
Yeah. So
when we sleep.
Yeah. So what happens is that the body is like a symphony. All right. So we just are not talking about the brainwaves only. So the brainwaves are going to go with the hormones. They are going to go with and the hormones are going to go with the nutrients. They are going to go. So it's a very well orchestrated symphony. So there are times when our hormones will be up because we need to move. So there are times when our brainwaves will be so like, for example, in the morning when we are coming out of sleep. Okay, so we are not coming out of delta and jumping into alpha or jumping into beta.
Right.
So we are coming out of delta, which was now the dominant brainwave, and slowly moving into theta. Okay, so theta, by the way, is when like when you go to bed, before you conk out, there is a period there, so you are not quite awake, but you're like, in dreamland. You're like going into dreamland. Now that is theta. So the same thing will happen in the morning. You feel, I want to, relax here a bit, and your mind is going all over the place. So now, so at different times, we will have dominant brain waves. Okay, but mostly during our waking time, if we are operating properly, we will be in alpha. So our brain waves will be running at the speed of 8 hertz to 13 hertz. It's not to say that the others are not going to be there. So when we need to relax a bit, we will go. So it's a very flexible thing, and this is what brain plasticity is all about. So very flexible. When you need to move from this one to this one, you move.
Sure.
And now, when I'm talking about brainwaves like that, I'm just talking about the speed of the brainwave. But there is also the amplitude of the brainwave. So the strength, the power that is in the brainwave. You know what happens in the ocean? So because brainwaves are, I mean, waves are waves. So what happens in the ocean when it is quiet, calm and quiet, and you're trying to, I don't know, you go and watch some dolphins in Watamu. If you are on the boats that have a sail, whatever, they are not going to be able to move because the wind is quiet and the waves are. So that's the same thing that happens. So if your brainwaves are slow, there are lots of things that you're not going to be able to do.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, if your brainwaves, so if not your brainwaves are slow, your brainwaves don't have power. So if your brainwaves are too powerful, they have too much power, is the same thing that is going to happen. So let me give you an example. So I have some kids, children, clients of mine who have autism, autistic. So one of the things, you know, autistic kids have tantrums.
Yes.
So one of the things that I have seen in their brain waves, when I have done the map of their brains, is that they have a lot of power in their brain waves. So their brain waves, so the unit that is used to measure the amplitude of the brain waves is microvolt. A microvolt is 1/1,000,000 of a volt. So that's a microvolt. So normally we would be between 5 microvolts to 30 microvolts. And
Is one brainwave.
No.
Is your brainwave in general?
Okay. The amplitude
Yes.
of the brainwaves
Yes.
is between 5 to 30 microvolts.
Okay.
These kids have 200.
Microvolts.
Yes, so
Wow.
200 microvolts.
So that's like quadruple.
Yes. So that is why this kid will throw tantrums, will throw tantrums, will throw things around.
Yeah.
It's because of their brainwaves,
Right.
you see. And now, if it is as powerful or if it has so much power in it, it's destructive, just like a tsunami would be. So, sorry, I have gone a lot into. As you can see, I do get quite.
No, I mean, I love it.
excited,
I think it's very informative, and I think
Yeah.
it's great that there's devices that can actually read
Yes.
these brainwaves. So if you do have, definitely as an adult, it's very useful. But if you have kids and you suspect autism, or you suspect that your kid is, let's say they call it, he's slower than the other kids
Yes.
in class,
Would
it make a big difference?
Something like
ADHD, exactly.
learning difficulties.
Right.
They are all in the.
And so would it be of merit for parents to get their brainwaves checked of the kids?
Yes. If a kid has problems in school, including behavior problems. I used to be a teacher. I was a teacher for many years, for 20 years. So I think I know what I'm talking about. There are kids who, you can see this kid, even if you give them extra classes, they are not going to shape up. Okay, some of them, if they are threatened, they are beaten or something like that, they're threatened, they will actually shape up. So there are other unorthodox ways of getting a kid do well in school. But then when they go to the next level, they collapse.
Right.
So these children, the ones that have difficulties in school, the one that is always at the bottom of the class, it would be a very good idea for their parents to get them to do a brain assessment. Okay, but now what kind of a brain assessment? You see, if you go to a neurologist, for example, the neurologist will send you to do an EEG. So when you do an EEG, doing an EEG itself, or getting a diagnosis, it's not very useful. What is most useful is what are you going to do with the diagnosis?
Right.
So, and here is where the neurofeedback comes in. So it would be a very good thing for them to have an assessment done by a neurotherapist who does also neurofeedback, because then they can tell you, like, if you come to my office, we can do in 2 sessions, we can have a brain map, By the way, the brain map that you're talking about is not like a map the way, map of Wastelands or Google Map.
Right.
It's a map with bars.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see, and this one is something that is empirical. You can see that this child of mine does not have enough amplitude in their brain waves. So my brain amplitude, for example, brainwave amplitudes, around 5. I get quite a number of sites that are below 5 microvolts. But that's because I'm an old man, as you can see, right? So, but for a kid to have the same amount of microvolts as myself, there's obviously a problem.
Issue, right?
Yeah, there's a problem there.
And now, how do you? Let's say that a kid has come to you. You've checked their microvolts, and you've said, okay, they're a little bit under, or they're a little bit over. As a psychologist, is there a way to bridge this gap?
Yes, as a neurofeedback therapist,
Right.
That you see, neurofeedback, lens neurofeedback, it does two things simultaneously. So it kind of diagnoses and also gives feedback. So treats simultaneously.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
give me an example of a treatment
Okay.
for somebody who's not functioning at optimal.
Okay, so I got quite a number of examples of people who are not functioning at optimal, and I have had clients. Some of them are as young as 4 years, and I think my oldest client was 60, 67 or thereabout. So the 67-year-old had migraine headaches, because this is also a thing to do with the nervous system. Had migraine headaches. She told me for 40 years.
Wow.
40 years migraine headaches. So she had even gone to India to get it checked, and also to get some discs her back, also because she had a back problem. So she came to my clinic, to my office. We did some sessions of lens. We didn't actually do many. I think we did 7 or 8. And then her migraine headaches that had plagued her for 40 years
Wow.
disappeared. She told me that she had medicine, drugs for the headache, that she used to have for like a whole year. So every time she had someone is going to India,
She's popping these medicines.
no. Every time she had someone,
she would order them.
She would send, "You're going to India? Yes,
Yeah.
please. Here is my prescription.
Right.
Bring me some medication." So she had a lot. Now she had a lot of medication to last her a whole year. So she told me now, Daktari. They call me Daktari.
Yeah.
Although I keep telling them I'm not a Daktari, but.
Sure.
So they say, Daktari, now my medication is expiring. I'm no longer using it. And she brought her son as well.
Yeah.
So her son also had migraine headaches, which also disappeared. So that is one of the cases that.
And in terms of can you give us a little bit more detail? What was the brainwave? Which cycle were they in? And what do you believe was the issue why she was getting the migraines?
Okay, so in brainwaves, we are looking at a number of things. So we are looking at the speed. That is, so speed is the one that says you are in delta, you are in theta or alpha. So that is speed.
Right.
We are also looking at the amplitude.
Yes.
Okay, that is how
Strong
your brainwaves are.
Yeah.
Another thing that we are looking at is how flexible your brain is. How flexible. So are you able to move from one to the other, one brainwave to the other when it is needed? We're also looking at are you able to, because you could say the energy requirement of the brain waves is not constant. So at one moment you need maybe 10 volts, another time you need 1 volt. So in different parts of the brain, how flexible is your brain? So in her case, and in the case of many others, so besides being in a dominant brainwave of delta, and having very low microvolts. Also, her brain was very inflexible, so it wasn't flexible. So when now she needs to move out of, or when she needs to move out of this brainwave to the other brainwave, she's not able, because the brain is flexible. Now, I don't know what it means by it's not flexible as far as functioning is not concerned, not as far as structure is concerned.
Okay.
So the structural of the brain,
it's still the same.
Yes.
It looks the same. It pumps blood the same. So it's flexible in that way.
It's flexible in that way.
It just can't move from one brainwave to another, or from one volt to the other.
Yes.
Increase and decrease.
Exactly.
That's the flexibility.
Yeah, that's the flexibility we're talking about.
Sure.
Functional flexibility.
Yeah.
Not structural flexibility.
Okay.
Yes.
And how can you, through Lens, there's a way to fix this?
Yeah, through Lens, this is the way to fix. I love it because, the client doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
The client comes and sits there, and I come with my equipment, and I put sensors.
You should have brought your equipment here.
Should
have checked my brain function. I always tell people that I'm very bad at multitasking. Maybe there's a brain function problem.
Probably. Like everybody should have their brains dusted every now and then.
Yeah.
You have a car. You take your car for service all the
100%.
time. Okay? Our brain.
I didn't even know you can service your brain.
You
I go to the gym, I service my body, I service my muscles, I service my food and what I eat.
But you don't service your brain.
Yeah?
Yeah. You don't, at least not consciously. You don't service your brain, you don't service your nervous system.
Sure.
Because now what it means is when your brain is like that inflexible, is not very flexible, the nervous system, your whole nervous system, the brain is part of the nervous system. The brain is the central nervous, but the brain is the central nervous system, but we have the other nervous system, the peripheral nervous system. So what it means, for example, is your vagus nerve is not toned, so it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So you will have someone who has so when your nervous system, and this is, I like to look at it from this side, from this way, when your nervous system is mostly or chronically in sympathetic mode, that is, you are in fight or flight or freeze mode, there are things that are going to be happening to you in your body. So, for example, you're going to be having constipation. Okay, constipation, because your nervous system, the one that is in charge of digestion, which is the vagus nerve, is not working well. All right. You're going to have high blood pressure. Okay, high blood pressure, because again the nervous system is not working well. Your hormonal system is sending blood, for example, to, okay, so it is getting you to produce more blood sugar, so your blood sugar is going to be high. Okay, your blood pressure is going to be high, because it is preparing you to fight or to flee. So there are many things that one can do to move their nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Breathing exercises, for example, taking cold showers, cold plunges, yoga, meditation, yes, and hanging out with people who have good vibes. Right. So all these things you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a brain function for that also? So if let's say you're somebody who is very stressed out, you're constantly in this sympathetic nervous system space, is there something you can do with Lens, or anything that you can do with brain functioning, apart from all of these other great tools that we've said?
Yes. So when you come to Lens Neurofeedback is strictly working with the nervous system. Okay. Now it's not how would you say? It's not the only thing that you can do, but you've got to do it together with the other things.
Sure.
But it will move you a lot. So this one will move you a lot, but you've got to do to do it with the other things as well. And you have to also, when you're doing lens neurofeedback, there are also other things that you have to remove. So there are things you have to remove, there are things you have to add. So for example, things to do with heavy metal toxicity, that's a very, very big one. So you have to maybe be doing some detox, some sort of detox. It's a holistic thing. It's not a lens. I would say lens is not a silver bullet, but it will move you very far.
Now, talking about this heavy metal detox, this is something that you provide also.
Yes, I do some heavy metal detox. Yes, I do.
And how are we getting these heavy metals into our system? I know maybe through water, but is there any other mediums? Is it through the air, through the pollution?
Yeah. Okay, many ways. So through body products, for example, skincare products, all right? Vaccinations. People have not been wanting to talk about vaccinations, but they do. All vaccines that are given to kids, say in this country, for example, they contain mercury. Now, mercury is a heavy metal which is very toxic to the nervous system. Specifically goes and lodges in the brain.
Wow.
So in the form of thimerosal, it's found in the vaccines that are given. So if you're vaccinating kids that are 1 day old, and you're even vaccinating their mothers when the kids were in utero with tetanus and whatever else. So this is also one other source. Dental fillings, amalgams.
I have one.
You have one?
I have one that's metal. It was actually when I was very young, because my milk tooth, that they said that there's no tooth to grow after. And so they did a metal filling, which has now deteriorated. So I'm sure there's a lot of metal in my system.
Yes, and those amalgams, most of them have mercury.
Yes, absolutely. This one I know has. I mean, I was very young, of course, at the time, and our parents were so ill-informed.
That could be a source of your issues, if you have any issues.
I mean, I have lots of issues. How much time do you have? Are we having a psychology class? Session now, because I'm ready. No, one. I mean, I'm sure. I think people don't have a clue. I mean, I didn't have a clue until now.
Yeah. I also have a tooth here that has fillings.
Yeah.
And I have been looking for a doctor that could actually remove it.
Okay.
I did go to a dentist. They were a bit reluctant because they said this is for me to remove that filling. First of all, you have to wear those very heavy things like.
Really?
Yes, like the things for when you're going to do an X-ray.
Yes.
So those very heavy, because mercury is a very, very toxic thing.
Oh my goodness, I need to take this out.
Yeah, if you get a doctor and let me know.
Okay, well, if there's anyone out there who knows a doctor who's going to remove our fillings, please give us a dentist.
Yeah.
Please write in the comments.
Yeah, in the West, they're called biological doctors, I think. They have them. Yeah, in the West. So that is also a source of toxics.
Right, sure.
I think also the food that we are eating.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of chemicals that are toxic. There are a lot of new chemicals that never existed just a few years ago. Toothpaste. So if you're talking about toothpaste, fluoride, so you should be getting toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride. So that fluoride, fluoride does other things as well, because fluoride so fluoride in toothpaste. Some of the stuff they put in bread to make, nowadays
Yes, absolutely. That's why even the breads that I use are, I don't eat too much bread, but my mom does.
Yeah.
And there's only 1 or 2 bakeries that I trust that I get it from, because they put a lot of things inside to make it
last longer. Yeah,
it's true, actually. You can leave bread out for quite a number of days.
For a week. The bread has
although some of the fruit as well really freaks me out. Sometimes I look in the fridge and back in there's like an old apple, and I'm like, why does it look so new? Because it's been here for like a month.
Yeah, because they have, you see, now that's a big problem actually. Food is a big problem.
So when you talk about the heavy metal detox, what do you have to do in order to do this detox?
Okay, so there are different protocols for heavy metal detox. Me, the one I use is I use a specific protocol. So, and this, so there are some supplements that will help you get ready for detox. So we're talking about magnesium, we're talking about zinc, we're talking about omega-3, fish oil.
All the good things.
Yeah, all the good things.
Yeah.
Did I say magnesium?
Yes.
Yeah, magnesium is something everybody should be taking.
Yes, absolutely.
So we are taking these things, but also there are other supplements, like there's one called DMSA or something like that. I don't use that one. What I use is alpha lipoic acid.
Okay.
So the supplements plus alpha lipoic acid, because alpha lipoic acid is the one that grabs the heavy metal. The heavy metal, the mercury especially, binds to alpha lipoic acid, but it has to be taken in small doses and every 3 hours. So you have to take it every 3 hours. You take alpha lipoic acid every 3 hours. You take when you are doing a round.
Yeah,
So
right.
around
how long is that?
Around with 72 hours.
Okay.
So when you're in these 72 hours, you are taking that alpha lipoic acid. You had been preparing with other supplements. Now you're taking alpha lipoic acid every 3 hours. You know why you take every 3 hours? Because there's something called a half-life. Drugs have what is called a half-life. How long the drug takes when you swallow it to reduce by half.
Right.
So, yeah. So the half-life of the alpha lipoic acid is 3 hours.
Okay.
So, and the reason why you have to take it every 3 hours is because you took and went and grabbed the molecule, a mercury molecule, and now it is removing it from where it is through the blood to maybe to the kidney, to the liver. So if you leave it, when it becomes
it releases it.
It releases it.
Sure.
Yeah. And
so you want to keep it alive.
You want to keep it alive until it is brought out.
Right.
Until it is brought out. And alpha lipoic acid is one of the ones that can cross the brain-blood barriers. So yeah.
Amazing.
So, but it takes a long time. It can take a very long time, and you can't do it if you have mercury in your mouth. Right. Yeah. So that is the other thing that I do.
And is it beneficial for everyone to do this, or is there a certain protocol for who can do it?
Heavy metal detox, yes, but it's not. Probably it's for someone who has some serious problems. But detoxing is something that we got to do all the time.
Absolutely.
Detoxing. We are living in a very toxic world, and some of the molecules you find in foods, like some of the molecules you find in dairy, casein, for example, are problematic. The body is not able to absorb them. Gluten, everybody knows about gluten.
For sure.
But they also say now, studies are saying worse than gluten is glyphosate.
Okay.
So glyphosate is a molecule that you will find in a lot of herbicides. You see now in the farms in Ukraine and wherever, they are growing thousands of hectares of wheat. So they have to spray.
Right.
And they spray now, they spray another
time. So it might not even be the gluten that's the problem in the first place.
Yeah, because it might not be the gluten. It might be the glyphosate that is used.
Sure.
A lot of herbicides. That is why I just eat meat. That's why I just eat meat.
Right.
99% of the time I just eat meat, because you see, meat is you don't have all these problems, especially the meat that we have here.
Right. If it's more organic. Especially
organic.
If you're sourcing meat from a good farm or a good farmer, and it's more organic, then I guess you don't have all of these problems with the herbicides.
Yeah.
How does mental health fall into all of this?
Okay, so this is that's a very good question. So Lens Neurofeedback, we didn't even talk about Tomatis.
Yes.
But Tomatis also.
So that's the other thing. So
Tomatis is also going for the nervous system.
Right.
So
maybe we can explain what Tomatis is.
So Tomatis is a music therapy. So it's called Tomatis because the person who invented it his name was Tomatis, is a French ENT doctor.
Okay.
Worked a lot with musicians, and then also people with different types of problems. So, so he passed on some time ago, not too long ago. So he came up with a system that goes, it is treating the brain problems that you may have, functional brain problems that you may have, but approaching it through the ears. So that you have headphones that you listen to some specific music that has been mostly the music of Mozart.
Wow.
But there's something that they have done which is called gating. So when the music goes up to some point, then it changes. So it keeps, you would have to listen to the music to understand what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So it's just like a change in the tone of the music. Like there's it's playing at a certain what's
intensity.
Music? Okay.
When the music becomes the intensity of the music is the one that triggers the change.
So that's how it changes the brain.
Yes.
Okay.
So from some certain hertz to a different hertz to different hertz. You see, because when we are listening to music, we are listening to vibrations.
Yeah.
Vibrations are in hertz. They are basically they are waves.
Yes.
So we are giving the brain, we are using this music from Mozart to fix the brain, to fix the nervous system.
That's very interesting. And because now again, I'm very interested in coming and doing some of these things with you because I particularly don't enjoy listening to too much music. And I do feel like I'm an anomaly because I think a lot of people, when they're sad, they listen to music. If they're happy, they listen to music. And maybe that's helping change these brain waves to uplift them or to calm them down or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly like listening to music ever. I think the only music I listen to is when I'm meditating. Sometimes I listen to some music. Most of the time I don't. I meditate in silence. But my family is always laughing at me or, they turn the music down when I walk into the house. Like my mom loves music, but every time I walk into the house, she turns it down. If I'm in the car, I have to be in a certain mood to listen to music with my sister. But the only reason I'm listening to the music is because somebody else wants to listen to it. So I don't know, maybe that's a brain function issue.
Yeah, that could be a brain function issue.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have autism or anything like that.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
A lot of the kids I see with autism.
Yes, they don't listen to music.
They don't listen to music. They are very, very sensitive to sound.
Very sensitive to sound.
Or is it?
Any sound, even if I hear like a drop of water. I mean, this was, again, it's a running joke in my house.
Oh.
If I have a clock, like sometimes I used to go visit my mom in Toronto, and there's the sound of the clock, and it drives me a little bit crazy.
Is that so?
I pull the battery out because the sound of that really drives me crazy.
So you are sensitive to sound.
Very sensitive to sound.
Very sensitive to sound.
Yes.
And are you sensitive to light?
I'm very sensitive to light.
You're sensitive to light.
I mean, I'm okay in the studio space because I know that this is the space that I'm in, that there's a function to these lights. But for example, in the evening, I don't like too much light. Again, my poor mother really suffers.
Do you wear sunglasses?
Not too much.
Not too much.
A little bit, but not too much.
Okay, but light bothers you?
Yes.
Okay, so you are sensitive to light and you're sensitive to
sound.
To sound.
And very sensitive to music.
And sensitive to music.
And maybe some people who talk, but those are the ones I don't like.
Okay.
I'm making a joke.
I think you could be a good candidate for Lens.
Okay.
For Lens Neurofeedback.
I think I should be.
Yeah, you could be a good candidate for, because this is just an indication of, especially the sensitivities.
Yeah.
They are an indication of the state of your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about the kind of food you eat, whether you have allergies. Do you have food allergies?
No.
No food allergies.
No.
Even since you were a kid, you never used to have food allergies.
Oh, sorry. What am I saying? Yes, of course. I have a lot of food allergies. I'm very allergic to gluten and dairy.
Okay.
Very allergic to both of those. I also have a symptom. I have something called IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So I can't eat too much. I can't eat corn. I can't eat too much fiber affects me. I can't eat broccoli. I can't eat too much cabbage. Actually, I can't eat any cabbage, but I love cabbage.
What do you eat?
Just like you, meat.
Oh, you eat meat?
I eat a lot of meat.
Oh, that's good.
I eat a lot of meat, yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's great to hear. We should go to Fogo Gaucho.
Yes, oh my goodness, I love it. I absolutely love Fogo Gaucho. I'll definitely take you up on that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I think there is quite a few things that...
Meat is very, very healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, it will heal, it heals a lot of things.
Well, we should tell that to some of the people out there who criticize protein diets, because I'm a huge believer in...
Yeah, you see, you have to understand the deceptions that are in this world. So, for instance, when you talk about studies, for example, you have to understand how studies are done, what type of studies are done, who publishes this,
Exactly.
you know who publishes. There's actually a lot of deception that goes on that we
Absolutely,
have no
100%.
idea. Yeah, a lot of it.
I think people need to make more informed choices.
Yes, they do.
And I think each person is very different, whether it's your brainwaves, whether it's how your body works. It's also, how much strain are you putting on your body? How sedentary are you?
Yeah.
So I always say there's not a one size fits all.
Nope.
And I think with neuroscience, it's brilliant because you don't have to guess. That, my child has this issue or I have this issue.
Yeah.
This is something that you can actually your brain waves will tell you what you need and what you don't need.
I was telling you, you asking me what made me go into this psychology thing. Okay, so first of all, I spent a lot of years, 15 years or so, teaching myself nutrition stuff. So that is how I arrived at Carnivore. Okay, because all these diets and all these whatever, you could say the best of them is meat. So, but to arrive there, I mean, I had to go through a lot of. So one of the things that really surprised me when I started was to do with fat. Okay, so and this is what I'm saying about deception. So the fat or the oils that we are told are heart healthy, cholesterol free, the seed oils, are the worst thing anyone should be putting in their bodies.
Absolutely, 100%
okay?
agree.
And what you're told is going to clog your arteries, which is saturated fat. So we are talking about animal fat.
Right.
All right, tallow. We are talking about ghee. We are talking about butter. We are talking about fat from the sheep. I don't want to mention pigs because of the feed, the kind of feed they are given. So they have a lot more omega-6 fats than omega-3. I'm not also talking about the chicken, this broiler chicken. And nobody in their right mind should be eating broiler chicken.
Right, absolutely.
So, so fat was a surprise, a big surprise. It was actually, it was a very big surprise because all this time we have been told, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. And then something like eggs, for example, limit your egg intake to 2 eggs per week. That's a lot. Because you could get, that's what you're told.
That's what they're told.
Yes.
God, I got scared because I was like, I eat at least 4 eggs a day.
You can eat, sometimes I eat 10, 12 eggs.
Okay, good, because I was about to make a call to my mom and say, we have a problem.
No.
I eat too many eggs.
No.
Okay, good.
But the conventional nutritional advice is reduce your egg intake to 2.
Because of the cholesterol.
Because of the cholesterol. Yes. The cholesterol is, most of, if you didn't have cholesterol, you couldn't last 2 days. Like if your body wasn't producing cholesterol, you couldn't last 2 days. And The cholesterol that we find, the dietary cholesterol, the one that we are taking in, the exogenous cholesterol, whether we take it or not, our body will still produce cholesterol. So if we need 3 grams of cholesterol in a day, and we get 500 from the food we eat, that day our bodies are going to produce 2,500 milligram, whatever, 2.5 grams. So cholesterol, in fact, they say in the US, I think it's the American Heart Association, they say cholesterol is no longer a nutrient of concern.
Wow.
In fact, studies show, especially for women, the higher cholesterol you have, the longer you are likely to live.
Oh, I think I have a lot. I eat a
You
lot
have-
of eggs.
You have a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll check.
eggs, yeah. So,
I have no issues with good fats,
yeah.
eggs.
Yeah, so now I was telling you how I came to this. So a lot of nutrition, I studied my own self nutrition, because again, that is not rigged, right? A lot of nutrition is rigged. This is rigged by whoever it is. Just like a lot of the conventional medicine is also rigged. Even the psychology that I studied also is also rigged. Like the textbook that we psychologists, we clinical psychologists are supposed to use to diagnose. When you come to my office, you tell me, I ask you stories, you tell me, I ask you about your childhood, you tell me, you tell me, see your symptoms. I get a book called DSM-5, okay, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, written by the American Psychiatric Association.
Wow.
Okay.
So there's a bias there.
There's a lot
already.
of bias.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bias. So I remove and then I check. I say, okay, your problem is, major depression, or your problem is, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm not saying that this thing doesn't work. I'm not saying it is not helpful. It is helpful, very helpful. But also studies show only 3 out of 10 people are helped by psychiatric interventions. Okay, only 3 out of 10 people are helped by talk therapy. So I want something that is going to help my daughter, because I came here because of my daughter. I have my firstborn daughter who is a lawyer, although she doesn't practice law. She got a job with a law firm, and she worked for 3 days. And then she called me once in town. She said, "Dad, I'm going to leave this office." She was crying. I said, "Where are you?" She said, "I'm in town. I'm walking towards the Basilica. I'm going to the Basilica. What's the matter? These guys are just yelling at me." Because she had had a problem for a long time, a nervous system problem,
Right.
Depression, I don't know what. And knowing what I know, I didn't want her to use psychiatric drugs. Okay, so we took her to several psychiatrists, and they were just giving her the same medication, maybe changing the brand name, increasing the dosage. Once I said, before I take my daughter to a psychiatrist again, I am going to interview the psychiatrist, which is what you should do, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean,
You're putting your life in someone's hands,
your
mental health in someone's hands.
I should
you should definitely
interview
interview him. Yes, absolutely.
But we don't, because
No.
we are very scared. Then
Well,
they
we
don't,
never interview doctors either. I think we
No.
should interview everybody
We should interview.
that has any say in our health.
Yes, look, if the owner of this studio wants to hire somebody,
Yes. They're going to interview.
They're going to interview.
Absolutely.
So I want to hire you as
Yes.
my doctor, or I want to hire you as my marketer. I'm going to interview. I should interview you.
100%.
So I went to interview this psychiatrist, a daktari in town, and we actually had that discussion for about an hour. And at the end of the day, I think what he told me is, look, first of all, your daughter, because she has suicidal tendencies, the law, I don't know, cap this, cap the other,
Requires her to take medicine.
Yeah. No, requires, she should be forced to go to a doctor. I mean, I'm not belittling suicide is a big problem. Yes. So whatever needs to be done should be done, but in a humane way.
100%.
Not forcing people who have agency. So so that is one of the things he told me there. And the other thing that he told me is that almost like their hands are tied. So you can't go to a psychiatrist, or you can't go to a doctor who is registered, a registered doctor by this, whoever registers them. You can't go to them and they give you medication that is not in the book. Like you can't go to a doctor and you have diabetes, okay, and the doctor knows that a ketogenic diet can sort you out.
Ah, I see.
And they tell you use ketogenic diet,
right?
Because they are going to be punished.
Yes, got it. So they have to prescribe medication as opposed to giving you alternatives, and that's why so many people search for alternate medication, or they search for professionals like holistic medicine.
Yes.
Or there's a word. Naturopaths, yeah. They look for that kind of, but you can't just go to a normal doctor, which is a real shame because there's not too many people who even know the option of going to a homeopath or a naturopath.
Yeah. So so I go and interview the doctor, and this is what he tells me about my daughter, and I don't want her to take psychiatric drugs. So what do I do?
Right.
How can I help? So then just one time I decided, okay, why don't I go to university? I have studied a lot of nutrition. Why don't I go to university and do a clinical psychology degree, which is what I did.
Amazing. What a story.
Yeah. And you find that actually, now you're talking about mental health. Yeah, a lot more people with mental health issues than even, you see, the 5 of us here.
Yeah.
Probably 60% have mental health issues, which we don't know about. But sometimes ignorance is bliss, right? So it's
unfortunately, yes.
Sometimes, all these people you see, they have a problem with alcohol, for example.
Yeah.
You know, alcohol addiction.
They're trying to cover up some sort of a mental health.
Exactly. They are using that substance to treat themselves. It's a self-medication thing.
But do you believe that you can try and treat yourself also with substances that are not quote unquote harmful? So for example, I see a lot of people that are attached themselves to some kind of sport.
Yes.
Or that you cover up the main issue that you're having by saying, oh, I'm going to ingrain myself into whatever it might be, tennis or golf
marathon.
Or whatever. And then you end up doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it even worked for me in bodybuilding. I used to go to the gym 2-3 times a day. I think I was covering up so many traumas and issues that I had by attaching myself to something other than dealing with what is happening to me inside.
I think that is perfectly in order. And I think that as long as something is not harmful, we should use it. So if it is a gym, because there are many ways of, I think there's a saying, there are many ways of skinning a cat. All right? So you could run marathons, you could be, I don't know, whatever, gardening, a lot of these things that can help you, as long as it is not harmful to you. But now, like I was saying, the people who are addicted to alcohol, or some people use alcohol to treat themselves. So that is harmful. In the long run, the alcohol is harmful. Other people use other drugs to treat themselves.
What I said about the Lens Neurofeedback, if we can do an experiment of someone pre-psilocybin and someone post.
Yeah.
And maybe that would be interesting to see if there's any change in the way that brain functions after a psilocybin experience.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting. I'm open to that if you're open to it.
I'm very open to it.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. But I was also saying that we may not be able to see changes as such.
Right.
Because also if there are any changes, you know what we say in these things is that correlation is not causation. So there may be correlation, like, you know, you did a trip.
Right.
And your brain waves are like this, but that doesn't mean it is because of the psilocybin.
Yeah.
And then the brain is also very, very complex, but it would be a very interesting experiment.
Sure, I think we should consider doing that.
You do take some trips yourself sometimes?
So I've done 2 mushroom ceremonies here in Kenya with Mandera himself, and I did the first one with my sister. and it was an exceptional experience. And then I did the second one alone, and both times I feel like there's a big shift in who I am, how I present myself. In my nervous system, I feel very calm. I feel very at ease. I feel very connected to myself, I think, and very connected to everyone else. So I think psilocybin does that. You know, that's what mushrooms are. They connect. They're like the communication system for the entire universe. So I feel very connected to everything. I also feel like I see things in a different way. Like everything has a life, everything has a soul, everything has a meaning. And I feel like that's what mushroom brought for me. And I also used to be someone who got angry very easily. You know, I was very on edge about a lot of things. I was very irritable as a child. And from doing a lot of other things as well, I'm not saying that it's not a cumulative effect.
Yeah.
I think I do a lot of meditation, prayers, you know. I think that my gym time and how I take care of my body has changed a lot of what I think and how I feel. But I feel like mushroom took me over to the next side. I mean, I feel very much more, there's a different kind of peace and a different kind of acceptance.
I think that everybody should take a mushroom trip at least once in their lifetime.
I agree.
They should. And, but again, also there are other things like, I'm also getting very interested in herbs.
Yeah.
Or herbs as so especially the ones that have to do with the nervous system. So ashwagandha, for example.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha.
I'm a huge believer of that too.
You use ashwagandha?
I do. So I also do, I actually have a small side business, which is more my passion project, where I work with medicinal mushroom. And I create different mixes. So I use ashwagandha, I use cordyceps, lion's mane, chaga mushroom, and I create different mixes for different things. So for example, my favorite one, because I do feel like I have quite a highly active nervous system, is called Relax. And what that does is it really brings down your body. So for people who are stressed or constantly overactive mind, it mixes, I mix a mushroom called reishi.
Reishi, I know reishi.
Yeah, which is super incredible. So I actually mix reishi with ashwagandha to really bring down the nervous system.
Reishi and ashwagandha, they are adaptogens.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus others.
Yeah.
But do you know, the thing that surprised me a lot is that we have ashwagandha in traditional medicine.
Yes.
In Kikuyu.
Wow, really?
We do
I didn't know that.
Yes, it even has a name, and Maasai also.
Wow.
You see, what happened is the Muzungu came here and rubbished all our knowledge, all the knowledge that we had. So he said, you guys, this thing you're doing here is trash. This is the thing you should be doing. But I think kidogo we are going back to, people are going back to
the old roots, traditional medicine.
Yeah. So ashwagandha and other adaptogens are very good for the nervous system.
Yes.
And you see, as long as your nervous system is in a sympathetic mode, even healing will be a problem. So when you get, first of all, your immune system is down, you are going to be getting sickly often, and when you do, healing is going to be not going to be fast. Because your stress itself, a bit of stress is good, bit of stress, but chronic stress is not good at all. Chronic stress is not good at all. In fact, I do tend to think that if you have a lot of stress in your life, if someone has a lot of stress in their life, and then their nutrition is not good at all, those people are likely to suffer from cancer. You know, so you have a lot of stress, your nutrition is poor, and then you have a lot of toxic, whatever, you know, you're eating, what your diet is not good, you're likely to suffer from one cancer or another.
Right.
Which again, I don't know if I got cancer, God forbid, but the last thing I would do is to seek conventional medicine. I just know what I would do. I would fast for 10 days or 20 days.
And they do say that fasting is incredible to kill any of the toxins and germs that are in your body.
And the cells, that the dead cells are going to be eaten by, the weak cells are going to be eaten by, this is what I was saying.
Regeneration of new cells.
Yeah, there's a lot of deception around.
Absolutely. And that's why I said people need to make more informed decisions. And
yes.
I think there's a lot of bad information, but there's also a lot of good information. But what ends up happening is somebody just attaches to one piece of information, spurts it out to their community. Their community picks on that information rather than saying, let me check what else is out there. Let me check what other information is out there. And let me also question the person who is speaking. Question, and like you said, we should question everyone. Question your doctor, question your psychiatrist, question your nutritionist, question your personal trainer, question your parents. You know, we don't ask enough questions. What social media has done, or what the internet has done, is it's given you a whole bunch of blank of information, and we've stopped questioning the validity of this. And like you said, where did this study come from? Who paid for it? What experiment was done? Who was it done on? Because also what I realized that a lot of experiments or a lot of studies are done on male, the age of 25 to 35.
And then they are generalized.
It's generalized. It's also shown medically, a lot of medical basis for women's bodies were based on men. And then they were just like, okay, a woman's body and her genetics is similar to a 65-year-old man. So let's do all of these studies to a 65-year-old man at a certain age, because women hold more fat than men do. So he's 65, he's X amount of weight, X amount of body fat. If we do these experiments on these men, we will just say women will follow. And that's not true. So a lot of studies that are done, how much protein you should eat, how much weight training you should do, what calcium you need, what kind of supplements you did, they're not actually done on women, they're done on men. So a lot of studies that are out there need to be questioned, and a lot of people who are putting these kind of information out there should also be questioned.
Yes, we should question. We should actually we should question, and we should be very open-minded.
Yes.
Because what we know is very, very little.
Right.
Very little. And we only know what has happened. We have no idea of, there's a lot of knowledge out there that has not been found, you know, a lot. So, and unless we are open-minded and we are questioning, these things will pass us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one more question, and it's something that we were talking about before we started this episode, between you and me. You talked about head trauma.
Yes.
And that was very interesting to me, and how that can also affect people unknowingly. As a child, you know, I remember I fell on my head actually twice. So I actually had a scar across my forehead. I think I was maybe 2 or 3 years old, and I was climbing on some rocks, and I fell and I split my head open and had stitches. And then I was a little bit older, and I fell in my grandmother's house, and I bumped my head, and I actually still have the scar. And unfortunately, they didn't take me to the doctor in time for me to get stitched. So I think they just put one stitch to kind of not make sure that the gash was not too open. But you said something very interesting about head trauma earlier.
Yes, traumatic brain injury, TBI. So TBIs are, they are more, how do you say, they are more TBIs than we care to acknowledge.
Yeah.
So all these guys who play rugby, for example, or contact sports, okay, all these riders, motorbike riders, who, you know, the helmet itself doesn't stop you from having a TBI. So when your body is, when your head is bumped into something, sometimes not even bumped, like I was telling you, you are in a car, it's going fast, and it's sudden braking, and your head goes like that and like that, already that is a possible TBI there.
Right. Like a concussion.
Like a concussion. Yeah. Now, a concussion is when now the TBI is quite serious. Okay. The event is quite serious. But even without concussion, you can still have TBI.
Okay.
Now, the tricky bit about TBI is that if you go and do an MRI, it will not show.
Right.
Because MRI is looking at how
Permanent damage or some
permanent,
kind of a
yes,
bigger strain or damage
exactly,
on the brain.
yeah, structure of your brain. Well, if you do an fMRI, a functional magnetic resonance imaging, that could show something. Okay.
Well, how many people do that though?
Very few.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, very few people. I don't know whether it is here in this
okay.
country, fMRI. So, and then even after you have done fMRI, unless you do neurofeedback, okay, I don't know of any other intervention. I'm not saying there are no other interventions,
Sure.
but unless you do another sort of intervention, I do not know. And what happens is you got to keep in mind, when these things happen, your nervous system, which is your which is a what do you call like your security system, what do you call that? Surveillance system. It's your surveillance system. Your nervous system is a surveillance system.
Yeah.
And one of its main things is to detect danger, a threat to yourself. So if you have a head bump, your nervous system says it's dangerous. So, and it adjusts some things for you to be able to cope. Okay. This is you remember I was telling you about flexibility of your brain. So when it does that, things are going to happen to you. It may not be at that time, like for example, that now what you are saying, things that happen to you when you're 2 years, 4 years.
Could be coming out now.
Yes.
Right.
Could be coming out now because of something that happened there back in the day that you can't even remember, but you can remember. It was a significant event.
Just significant enough
because
for
you
me to
can.
remember.
For you
And I
to
also
remember.
have pictures that show it.
You have pictures. So I was just saying today, there's a client of mine who had come to bring their child some time ago, and we talked about this child was autistic. So we talked about it, and then when we finished, he said, "Daktari, can you help my brother?" So what is the problem with your brother? Well, my brother is mad. Like, you know, the guy who in the village walks without any clothes, picking rubbish, you know, like that. So I was asking him, what happened to him? You know, was he always like this? He said, no, he wasn't like this always. Okay, we have had some problems in the family, you know. But this guy, he went even to a TVET college. He got a diploma in electrical engineering, and he went to work in some factory, and he fell off. In a go down, he fell off.
And so he might have had a TBI.
Yeah,
or
TBI, yes. And they took him to hospital.
Wow.
He was fixed, whatever bones they were broken, he was fixed, and he was okay. So he go home. Later, sometime later, I don't remember whether he told me how long later, how long afterwards, the guy starts losing it. He just started losing it because of the TBI. So TBI is a hidden cause of mental health, nervous system problems, issues that is hidden. And if you go to a neurologist, they will send you to do an MRI. They will come and say, we can't see anything. There's nothing wrong.
So this could also be your ability to handle stressful situations.
Absolutely.
It could be a TBI or it could be a neurofunctioning issue that people in the workplace, for example, or somebody who has a high corporate job, they've put under a lot of pressure and strain, and all of a sudden they've, let's say, cracked under pressure, but it could be just that they have a neurofunctioning issue.
Yes, they do.
And so a lot of people who don't acknowledge mental health, they don't acknowledge that these are some problems that we could have had from childhood. This could be a bump in the head. This could be the way that our waves are functioning. These could be which part of the brain wave you're predominantly in. Delta, theta, alpha. We have no information about this. Nobody tells you about this.
But you're in the brain waves that you're in, especially if they are normalized. Like if you are grown up and you're in delta, there is something that happened to you.
Right.
Okay? There are things that happen to you. So the brainwave itself tells us
what kind of traumatic event you've had as a child.
Yeah, and in neurofeedback therapy and in Tomatis as well, we usually say it's not really very important what got you here.
Right.
The diagnosis, what got you here is not important. How we get out of here is what is important. The child being born, being birthed is a traumatic event.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So if your mom, for example, had a long labor and as an emergency had to be taken to theater for so the child became I don't know what they use in obstetrics and gynecology, but the kid was distressed.
Yes.
The child was distressed.
Yeah.
If it is a very serious distress, then they can have cerebral palsy. Okay, but now that is when it is extreme.
Sure.
But the other times when it is not extreme, but the kid has problems because of the way they were birthed. Not just the way they were birthed, even if they were birthed normally, but what was the state of the mother?
I was just going to say that I think that's also something that we don't acknowledge, is that when the baby is starting to develop in a mother's stomach, the state of the mother can also have a big impact on the child.
In the child's mental health. You see, for example, we say that a mother shouldn't drink alcohol when she's pregnant, because the alcohol is going to affect the baby, or shouldn't use other drugs.
Sure.
But there are these hormones, stress hormones, cortisol, I don't know what. They are high when if the mother is stressed. Let's say the mother is, for example, a single mother, or the mother loses a job, or the husband is misbehaving, or whatever.
Or he's abusive.
Right. So the mother is stressed throughout.
Yeah.
So these hormones, the baby is going to be stressed. So the baby will be, will suffer from mental health, will have mental health issues down the line. But again, even if we know that the mother was very stressed, or the mother was, the birthing process was very difficult, what will we do? Give the kid medication?
No, absolutely.
No, like that is what we will.
And that's what they would advise you to do. Yes.
Give the kid medication. Or give the kid talk to the kid, talk therapy. I was telling you of my daughter who, when I was driving, and then I braked suddenly, and she hit the windscreen, cracked the windscreen. I had to change.
Yeah.
So now I can see that this child is very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. Luckily now we are able to do Lens. We're able to do Tomatis and stuff like this. And I tell you another thing. You see, people like carbohydrates a lot. We were saying about alcohol, people treating themselves with alcohol.
Oh yeah, people treat themselves with food.
People treat them
absolutely. I have clients who do that. Yeah.
Specifically carbohydrates.
Carbs, absolutely, and sugars.
And sugar.
Yeah.
There's nobody who treats themselves with eggs.
Yes.
So if you're stressed, you're not going to. If you're stressed, you're not going to eat eggs.
Of course.
If you're stressed, you're not going to eat a piece of meat, steak.
Yeah.
But if you're stressed, you're going to eat some bread, jam, maybe drink soda.
So is that something to do with the
nervous system?
Yes.
And it's something
that's automatically attached to the brain.
Yes. Because of the dopamine, and it makes your situation worse.
Yeah,
it's just like alcohol. Carb addiction is a serious thing. Someone tells you, I used to have I used to work with people with diabetes. Even now I still do, and I say, man, you have to give up your ugali. Says, what? You ask me to give up everything else except but not ugali. Yes. I can't give up. I would rather stay with my diabetes than give up ugali. So these children who you find they had problems when they are young, they take to carbohydrates. And when they take to carbohydrates, what happens? Some of them become obese.
Yeah.
Some of them become overweight. All right? And in fact, I have a theory. It's not really a theory. You can do a lot of exercise. You can try to do your dieting and all that. If your root cause is a mental problem.
Yeah.
If you have fat problems, weight problems, because you have problems with your psychological whatever, your nervous system. Now, unless you fix the nervous system,
absolutely.
yeah,
I think that's an important note to end by. I mean, this has been one of the most incredible conversations I've ever had. I'm so grateful for this information, and I do think that it's amazing how much our brain, what a big part in everything our brain plays, but we never actually give that brain any attention. We're always focusing on everything else.
yeah,
Even our traumas and everything, we're going in and we're, through talk therapy. But I think that this is groundbreaking. I think the Lens correct me,
neurofeedback.
Lens Neurofeedback is probably one of the most groundbreaking thing I've ever heard of.
It is.
Tomatis as well.
Yeah.
And I hope that more people will come and visit you and even bring their kids.
Yep.
Instead of before we put our kids on any kind of medicine, instead of diagnosing them on ADHD or any kind of other medical diagnosis, I would hope that people will come to you first and see what are the alternate ways of dealing with this.
Okay, I know you're winding down.
No, please go ahead.
Parents should be very, very...
So actually, the question I was going to ask you, which is probably what you want to answer right now, is what advice can you give people in your expertise with the experience that you've had that could be groundbreaking for them?
Yeah, what I would say is that parents have to be very alert, because mental health issues don't come up when you're old.
Right.
They start right from, down there. When you're taking your kid to school and the kid is not fitting well in school, he has behavioral problems, even if they are not big behavioral problems. Like your kid is crying all the time, your kid is sensitive. These are symptoms of something deeper. So parents should watch very, very much, which is a tall order now because everybody is on the gadget, right? So we are not looking at the children.
Just be more present with your kids.
Be more yes.
So that if you can identify any kind of issues that they have now,
yes,
today, it's going to make a lasting difference for them
yes.
later on.
And it is better to, as I say, to err on the side of caution. It is better to say, let me go to, not a doctor, let me seek help from someone who knows, rather than say, okay, now, I just wait. Because problems that we have, they don't go away.
Yeah, and even though they might seem like small problems,
if
it feels like that's something that has come to your attention, then let's not treat it as a small problem.
Yes.
And it's not a problem per se, it's just something that can be rectified at this point before they get older, and it does turn into a problem.
Yeah, and mothers know, because mothers have this thing called mother's instinct. They know.
I mean, I see my sisters and my mom, I mean, they know.
Yeah,
my sisters are very in tune with their kids, and they definitely know.
Yeah, but you see now what happens is that father say, you women.
Or they want to just diagnose, like, oh, the kid is not going well in school, he must have ADHD. So I really hope that we can, with this episode, I really hope that we can change the way that parents see their kids. We can change how people see psilocybin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy about,
and
maybe we can have another episode just talking about how incredible that is. And I will definitely come to you for this lens before and after. I would love to be part of this experiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this has been groundbreaking. Thank you so much.
I have enjoyed myself.
And you're doing great work for the community.
I have enjoyed myself a lot. I hope to do it for longer, much longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just tell people where they can find you when it comes to this kind of therapy.
Yes, they can. I have an office at Wendicote. Wendicote is in Westlands, David Osieli Road, near the mosque.
Okay.
So my office there is Unit 12.
Okay.
They can also find me on LinkedIn. Yeah. They will find, if they look for neurofeedback therapy, Lens Neurofeedback Therapy.
And you're the only one who does this in Kenya right now?
Yes, I have a colleague now who we're doing with, but he has his own equipment, he has his own clients, so we just share the office.
That's perfect.
But other than that, the other person is in South Africa and the other one is in Cairo.
Wow, so we're the only one in mainly in Africa.
Yes, this is cutting edge
Cutting edge
cutting edge
edge therapy in
cutting edge therapy.
in Africa.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Bob.
So
It
thank you
has been
too.
a real pleasure. If you just enjoyed that episode as much as I did and learned as much as I did, then you probably have even more questions than I did on this episode. So if you have any questions we haven't covered, please drop us a comment or DM me and I will answer, or I will even get the psychologist to answer any of the questions that you might have.